When you are off-grid, you can't rely on endless power that comes from the grid because you're not connected to it. So it is pretty important that you are in control of your power consumption and that you know where it goes to. It's not the sheer amount of power, it is where it is being used and whether that usage is now wanted or unwanted. So I'm about to install these devices here. They are smart relays that also have a power meter installed or included, and with those I can turn them on and off from afar in a dashboard. I'm using a software called Home Assistant for that, and they will also report how much power is being consumed for a given circuit, and then I can route the power to where I want it to be. So now these two devices are installed here. So a little bit of an explanation. So this first one is the differential that turns everything on and off. And that is the circuit breaker for all these relays. The red ones are the relays. And then we have a relay and power meter that is then followed by this to protect the cable that goes outside to the pump. And here is another one. And this goes to another pump. And now we can turn this on and off remotely and also know how much power is being consumed. Every single piece that is hanging here from the ceiling is accounted for individually. Nothing can escape. Each leg has a label with an identification number. Now Angel is taking one out to have a closer look. And here it is. You can see how yellow the fat is, and you can also notice how it has shrunk. Now the weight is significantly less than when it was fresh. When you start cutting the ham, it is important to keep this fat in order to close the cut surface again, so that it won't dry out. To get your own leg of ham, you can head over to our web shop and order some. There are two options for you to buy the ham. We offer envelopes with 100 gram of hand-sliced pieces of ham, and there is the full leg. In the case of a front leg, it's about 4 to 6 kilo each. Families in Spain keep the leg in the kitchen and everybody cuts off a slice whenever they are hungry. As we were coming back from town, we found this group of wild boars, several sows and their piglets, roaming a neighbor's field. So while outside the Miyawaki forest is being planted, I'm sitting inside here in the office, and I am trying to get the solenoid valve controller ready. Once the solenoid valves themselves, which I had ordered in China, have arrived, and then everything is ready so that we can install it in the field. So let me show you something what I achieved. So here you can see the application. This is Home Assistant that I used to do this. So I can turn on the valve, and over here there had been a message received, and now it takes a while and we have to wait while over there this appears like I had done nothing, so it is back to off. But once in a little while, could be a minute, the message gets processed, same way like further down. Then there will be an answer, and once the answer has been received, Home Assistant shows the valve as on. So now we have to wait a little bit, and waiting is nobody's strong suit, so It is a bit unfortunate. So what you see here is the Things network, which is the software stack that connects to the LoRaWAN gateway, which is an antenna that transmits the information provided by the network via LoRa to the devices. And eventually there should be new messages showing up here. It takes a while because the bandwidth is very limited. There is apparently more bandwidth for upstream, which is reporting from devices to the gateway, and there is less bandwidth for sending commands out to the devices. So while we wait, I can show you a little bit more. So here we have other end devices, and I can have a look at what the other devices have been doing. Unfortunately, there isn't much. 10 minutes ago there was an activity. This is one of the soil sensors. So there was activity, and you see this is the message, and temperature and water. And now if I move over here, this has just reported, or 3 minutes ago, you can see the values being shown here. The others are still unknown because the sensor has not yet reported. They report every 20 minutes or so. So this is slow, but it does happen. So there is nothing going on just yet. It took quite a while, several minutes. You can see that somewhere down here, 12:55, no, actually 48, down there, I sent the message the first time, then I was impatient and I sent it again, then finally it got scheduled, and then here it was forwarded, and now the second one is also forwarded. So as you can see, you have to be patient, and this is for software, so not for a human. But as a human, we want to have that feedback, and here it is. So valve 1 is now on, but again, it is a lot better over a network that has more bandwidth to send messages like Wi-Fi. But Wi-Fi costs a lot of battery and cannot send that far. So this works, but there is a delay. As the day is now beautiful and sunny, after all that rain, I decided to come in here and check for the bees. They are still trying to make another home for themselves around our home, but there's definitely activity here. So this is home for at least a part of them, but there's still two groups doing their thing where they are not supposed to, so I'm not so sure. But here we have a beautiful Paulownia tree that is fully stacked with leaves. That one here, and also the other one next to it, they don't look that good, but there are some Paulownia leaves at the bottom, but they have suffered. You can see that there is black stuff, brown stuff over here. It is not so severe. That is the cold. They did not like that, but I think they will come back. And I can show you a little bit here about the remainder. Of course, there are things that we don't want, but it doesn't matter, it's all biomass. The idea is to turn this bad soil into good soil, and that's by way of biomass. And the Bermuda grass that we had in here, that was the understory for the, what was it called? For the okra. This has come up nicely. And it's a nice feeling here. This is a little enclave, so to say. It is shaded from the wind. And that is why the Paulovnia tree there is looking so healthy. And the big one here in the center is also pretty nice. But it's all because this is in the shade, in the wind shade. So right now there isn't time to do anything here, because we have to plant other things and then shift our focus to more construction details. So I have no intention to do anything here. Those broad beans that I threw out, they were left over. They should continue to do whatever they want. And that here should also do whatever it wants. The only thing when I do something is when the Paulovnias here aren't growing. But they are. So there's nothing that I really need to do. But you can see there is another one, yeah, right there, and also here a little bit. Some of the leaves, they did not like the cold. And it is cold right now, but it will get warmer. So when the sun is out, it is nice, but I can show you. So I have 2 layers on right now, actually 3, and I wouldn't be doing that if we were really now in a warm spring. We had that, and then everything started to bloom and to grow, and then it got cold again. I hear elsewhere in Europe people have been complaining about that, and apparently it's a huge issue. But in our case, there isn't really a big problem. Here at the site for the Miyawaki forest, planting continues. There is quite a bit more now. And also the irrigation is now modified. So now we have 2 strings, or we will have. It's not completely done yet, because we have gotten some rain, and we also learned that we need to be careful with the amount of water that we provide. Those plants expect only a little bit of water. So you see, there is quite a bit more. And these few rows were done since this morning. And also the other line of irrigation is now there. So it won't be long, probably by the end of this week, that we finally will be done with this. I think I should also provide an update on this. So Alexander here, one of the volunteers that thankfully showed up here, took this task upon himself. He installed the exhaust fan there and has now opened up the wall so that we can add more, I think in English it's called plaster, so that we can actually install the pipe that is to provide hot and warm water to the shower, because without that this would not hold. So we basically have to redo this, and then it works. And that spray foam here, to avoid the condensation, is a bit a challenge. We will go to the shop in Cordoba this afternoon and ask a few questions. I think there is a primer that can be applied on the metal, and then this will then stick better than it is right now, because right now, as you can see, it kind of comes down by its own weight. It will eventually hold, but of course it's a tedious process. And this will not stay the way it is. So we're still on this. What also happened is down here, there is this pressure reduction valve, which makes the shower less little. People who have been here and experienced this know what I'm talking about. So this basically, regardless of the pressure on the outside, will reduce this to household pressure. So that's already there. And after the shutoff valve there, of course it's now covered in dust, there will be the rest of the installation, but we maintain this one so that you can add a hose to it, which is what Alexander at the moment continues to use as a shower. And there is some water in it because apparently there is still something leaking, or it might have stopped by now. So this is an ongoing thing. And he has taken on this task for himself, and thank you, Alexander, for doing that. As I am making my way to the school pickup, I want to use the opportunity to tell you guys something. And Angel and I just had a conversation that prompted me to record this. So, this is a wannabe farm, so far that you know. But as I happen to be a software guy and I am in technology of some sort, of course, this is not the idea of a usual farm. So, in this video, you have seen already technology. And there will be more technology as I get more free time and more knowledge about the Internet of Things and how to control devices and measure stuff. So this whole topic of automation. My goal is to be nice and helpful to soil, plants and animals, and therefore create positive effects. But also I want to use technology instead of a lot of human labor. We are in the 21st century. A lot of things humans don't like to do anymore, but we can automate it. And by automation, we also gain a benefit. Things that are supposed to happen will happen because the machines, the computer, the devices, they will not fail, they will not be tired, they will not have a headache or feel cold or hot or have another reason for not doing what they were supposed to do. So this is a benefit. Nothing against humans, the humans are very important, but then this technology exists, and I would like to see it as making people's life easier. Of course, there is the downside that eventually it requires less people, but people always find something to do. The same thing applies to me. So this is a major part of this, and it has been part of it since the very beginning, but you were not able to see it because there wasn't time to actually do it. But now there is. So more of that will show up, and I hope this makes this a little bit different than other channels where the topic is farming. This is farming and technology. And I'm not an expert yet, but I'm learning. So come with me on that very same journey of learning.